Right, we are back. I'm joined at the desk by Hype10, our locked-in finalist, Joel Larson.
What's up?
Hey.
So, at this point, our bracket is thus. We should be able to pull it up for you guys. Joel Larson is locked in to the finals, and we're going to be doing the second semifinals bracket. That's going to be Dane versus Mogwai. This is kind of the clash of the three card games at this point.
Mogwai's ready to go. He's already in queue.
Oh, look at that. We're going to have to get into this in just a moment. So we've got Joel Larson, Magic the Gathering player, Dane, the Hearthstone player, and Mogwai, the Gwent player.
Right.
We'll have to see who emerges victorious. Joel, if you had to pick kind of one of these decks that you'd be a little more scared of facing.
I don't know. I tried to look at them very recently. One deck is way better at racing me, which is the black deck, because it has tons of Oglodi Vandals, and they can overcome me early with their more powerful heroes in kind of the flop.
Yep.
And then they can actually punish me for getting ahead, so that's kind of scary. The other deck, however, can be really good at being defensive, like Enchantress holds her lane very well. Legion Commander is extra scary because they can very easily just kill my Sorlacons with Yule. And then they have Sven, which is also kind of annoying if you're trying to go wide.
Yep.
And if it gets to that far, Tide Hunter can be like a big fog in a turn or taking over lane.
So we get.
I don't know. I think it's close.
We get into the first game here. Dane's got the Mist of Avernus, which of course, as we know, has been a powerhouse card in this tournament. And I actually love what he's done here. He's declined to use it round one, even though he had the opportunity with Enchantress, because he wants to see where his creeps go to try to get a better Mist.
Yeah.
And we see Mogwai with the turn one Unearthed, also huge, although he does have two in the deck.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he has the opportunity to commit that to one of the lanes here. He can choose left or mid, or he could alternatively save it, like Dane is doing with the Mist of Avernus. Kind of less important to do
It's
with
very
secrets.
unfortunate. You can see it's kind of punishing him that he doesn't have
Yeah,
two green heroes or another green hero coming in second, because it's kind of awkward when you're only green heroes in the last lane and you can't get that immediate value or like more flexibility.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Usually you see where it's going to get hit for sure this turn, and then you place it there, but now creeps can spawn, like we see here, and he's not going to get the value, at least for now.
Yeah, that's very annoying for him, for sure.
Okay, so keep in mind, in this matchup, Mogwai's kind of got these sort of aggressive deck. It's a little sort of like Yoel's deck, where it's green and black, and trying to end the game a little bit earlier, whereas Dane is just setting up a wall. This is red and green. He's going to stay alive, keep his guys strong, and time is on Dane's side.
Yeah, it's like a red metagame. What's up with that?
Yeah. This Enchantress represents
Ooh,
a really...
that arrow.
Yeah,
It's
this bristleback curves
this
into this
is
Enchantress,
very, very big.
guaranteed. The Prowler Vanguard has the opportunity to save her here off of Dane.
You have to spend a card basically to just jump, which is super awkward. I feel like.
And you lose the opportunity to
Very
Mist of
unfortunate.
Avernus as early as you might want to.
Ooh, but he actually has the counter in new orders. I guess it's not. I guess he gets one armor, so he actually survives from the Prowler Vanguard.
That's correct, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wonder if Dane will... Would you just ever just miss here? In the third lane, of course, but...
I
just
mean,
let the
I think I
Enchantress
would
die.
Prowler Vanguard.
you have the opportunity, but at the same time, like Bristle eating your Enchantress and just gaining free armor for the rest of the game is just too strong, I think. The new orders doesn't really threaten that much here. The one armor blocks both 1 damage off the Bristle and the creep. So if you're Mogwai, you're looking at the Stonehall Elite. If you're going for a lucky curve, he could curve into this creep. Does not get it. Stonehall, of course, is one of the strongest early units in the entire game. If this snowballs off of a melee creep it kills, it will just kind of carry over a lane.
Pretty good card to splash, but also like because it's so powerful and proactive, but also gets a little bit more awkward when you can choose which lane you want to play it in, because you really want to get it in front of a creep the first turn it comes down, so you can grow immediately. And if it grows, it very quickly gets out of hand, or it's a lot harder to stop basically when it has effectively 6 health with 2 armor and 4 health.
If you're Mogwai here, you might consider just using a proactive no accident on the Sven. Not really the best no accident you're looking for, but at the same time, you've got 2 in hand, and one of your black heroes is dying.
I don't know, I would kind of want to get away from this hand, so I kind of want to keep the Sven healthy because I have unearthed secrets.
Just bail out of the lane. It's a good lane to abandon on its secrets because you draw power.
That's what I'm thinking. But maybe he wants to make sure that Sven has to kind of... I don't know. This doesn't even help if he wants to come back with a black hero and no accident again, since Sven is on 4. So Sven is kind of safe here, honestly.
So Dane might be looking for the Mist of Avernus target here. He can choose to put it either in this lane. Puts it in this lane.
Okay.
And then Mogwai's got the Sato Duelist on the right side if he wants to try to contest this lane a little bit more.
Very interesting.
Yeah, we saw this before. It's like,
Yep, missed Burning Oil.
like if you do want to fight for this lane,
combination.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It cracks me up. I can't take it.
So Mogwai's got the Chen coming down. It's probably like his kind of most late game card in terms of his signature and active. And Chen is going to come in huge in this matchup. The ability to, on a forward turn cooldown, steal an enemy creep on something like an Ogre Conscript, a Red Mist Pillager even, could be game winning.
Yeah. These two creeps are very, very awkward. He doesn't get to draw a card for another turn from Unearthed Secrets, which is super awkward, honestly.
Yeah, it's not what you like to see when you have to commit Unearthed Secrets so early.
Do you guys think we're gonna see a Kraken Shell in mid lane, so he only takes 1 damage and can't be no accidented, and that way you have initiative in the last lane?
Yeah, he does have 2 different armors as well.
Yeah.
If he wants to play for initiative, he has the opportunity. Nasal Goo out on Tidehunter isn't bad, but at the same time, Tidehunter is a hero that you don't really mind just like leaving alone because it has so much health anyway.
That actually is huge that the Tidehunter landed from the Stone Hall. Now the Stone Hall can't grow.
Yep.
Yeah. I think it's pretty big.
So if you're Dane, you're looking at this Red Mist Pillager, although playing it this early is kind of potentially punishable. Of course, we know that there's not as much that Mogwai can actually do with this hand. He just has Nasal Goo and New Orders as an option. Dane's just going to use Enchantress's signature, Verdant Refuge, buff up the armor on his mid.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't really save any creeps in this lane, so it makes sense not to play it here. Kind of wondering, maybe we should play it in the last lane? No.
Yeah, I
guess
love
this
this stack and all the improvements in the same lane.
I guess it kind of, that's true. I guess this kind of works out instead of casting Kraken Shell. It's kind of the same thing, right?
So I like the Nasal Goo here because it allows the New Orders to kill the Enchantress. The most important thing about regen is it happens at the same exact time as combat. So even though it has 8 health and Bristle has 8 attack, without the minus armor, it does not represent lethal. Robert DeMail is going to come in and save the Enchantress though.
I feel like that was super ambitious though, because
You see
He
the
knew
three,
Dane
you see
had
the
more-
3 items, yeah.
yeah. I don't know. I felt like you wasted a card in 8 damage there, killing a creep.
Yeah, we've actually seen players get a lot of value just saving the New Orders, just as long as it takes to get, like, even turn 7, 8, 9.
Yeah.
Making
To
huge
finish
plays.
the game or
You know.
get a crucial kill when it's unexpected.
So Dane develops the Red Mist Pillager. Now we've seen this card be kind of an absolute powerhouse. This has the ability to win the game on its own. Here, it will enable Mogwai to draw a card off of Unearthed Secrets. And I expect Mogwai's going to play Keenfolk Turret into this lane. Maybe no accident next turn to start shutting that down. Mogwai does have answers to this Pillager.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you have to dedicate the Keenfolk Turret for sure.
Yeah,
Like,
Keenfolk's got to
just-
come down. And then probably
way.
Phantom Assassin deploy mid with no accident. for the
Burning
other one.
Oil is actually doing a lot of work here. It's going to take out the minions, and then he can overtake the board.
Yeah.
Burning Oil is it's a card that doesn't look like much as the turret.
Yeah, the card is pretty good. I think the card is pretty good. I
Very
just
solid.
don't usually use it this way.
Yeah, but if you actually look at the other lanes, he's never going to get value in the middle lane,
Yeah.
and his idea is that he's going to super defend the main lane as well.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, if it's on the Red Mist Pillager plan, then for sure.
I'm sorry.
This
Oh,
is
and we have
exactly
a-
how you want to use Curse Stater.
Yeah. Also, if it didn't die, we had a combo between that and Burning Oil, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna be placed in front of the creeps all the time, I guess, but still, though.
Not holding the Apotheosis, okay.
Ambitious holding.
So Treant right here for Mogwai, perhaps? He's going to go ahead and give up right. Now, whenever you can abandon a lane against 2 heroes, you might be able to pressure the other 2 lanes enough for that to be good. Very dangerous against Mist, though. Very, very dangerous, because this has ancient threat potential.
Yeah, there's a lot of Asian threat potential in Dane's deck, it seems like. Mist and Red Mist Pillager and like pretty big creeps overall.
So if Mogwai wants to try to abandon right lane, this is a very aggressive play. It puts this game on a clock. Mogwai is going to need to be able to take both left and mid in the next like 3 or 4 turns or so. And he's put no pressure on either tower yet.
Still an ambitious treat.
That tree dying, of course, to the retaliate damage from Enchantress.
Yep.
Yeah, with the Barbed Mail. Legion Commander Mail.
What do you guys think of that card?
I think it's pretty poop.
How often do you actually buy it?
Never.
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 Yeah.
I mean,
We've seen it a lot here.
I bought it in the Sacred Shop a couple times,
Yeah.
but, and I do mean a couple of times.
yeah. It combines the worst aspects of short sword and leather armor.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, pretty much, I guess. Yeah, Retaliate doesn't really get that much better if you don't have minus armor. Then it's just like a worse attack because it comes from 2 sources, so it's easier to defend against with armor from on your own heroes. It's kind of, I don't know, high variance, I guess you could call it. Interesting. I guess it's gonna make sure he can protect one of his pillagers by. No, he doesn't even
have
the
duel
potential.
to shut down anything.
Yeah. This was weird.
Yeah, interesting.
For some
play.
reason I thought he had a green hero to intimidate, but clearly he can't do that. Huh.
Yep. Taking initiative, but not too much to capitalize on it. Usually with initiative, you want to pair it with something that shuts down your opponent's plays.
I guess it makes sense if he's scared of coup de grace to be able to play his ogre conscript before anything happens.
Yep.
But then again, if your opponent coup de grace your red hero here, then Muskets, the red pillager, isn't even good to play the ogre conscripts here. Like, it's not gonna win on its own. That was one of the most awkward initiative takers I've seen ever.
Yeah, initiative into pass.
I think he realizes this, that
Maybe he just wanted the armor untied.
Yep.
possible.
I think he realized after he committed to this play that Mogwai has Slay, and now he's changing his plan. He wants to make sure Mogwai uses his mana before the conscript comes down.
I feel like there's a high chance that he wants to play around coup, but actually playing around coup by playing ogre isn't even good, because the ogre isn't good to commit here if Sven dies.
Yes.
Then Mogwai just wins this lane anyways, ogre conscript or not. And also he's gonna start to draw cards from conscript, and then he can block it at some point. Yeah.
I don't know. To me, this looks like a bit of a bad lane for Mogwai. I mean, I love the idea of just abandoning a 2-hero lane. Like, this right lane is doing very, very little for Dane, but Dane's deck has such powerful defensive capabilities. I feel like Mogwai's not going to be able to punch through these other 2 lanes in time. Tidehunter's Ravage is coming up.
Although he does have Shen there, and Shen is a master at winning a lane that's kind of defensive from both sides. Like, it's...
That's very true. The conscript is just not able to come down on the left side.
Yeah.
So both Tidehunter and Shen have powerful 4-turn cooldown actives, and they are both online this turn. Dane has the initiative, so he can... We are probably going to see the Ravage coming out now. Stuns Riley, stuns Chen, 50% chance to stun the Bristleback. Gotta tap that first.
And the creeps as well, working potentially on all opposing units.
Yep. Yeah, so something cool you can do here is you can just slap the ogre conscript in front of the Chen, kills the Chen before the Chen can steal it.
I love it.
That delays the cooldown of Sven's ability.
Although the town portal is going to be pretty big against that.
Town portal is then the counterplay.
Yep.
Yes.
So even though Mogwai is stunned out of his entire hand, the one item he can play here is Town Portal Scroll because it's colorless. So I think we will see that happen. The conscript threatens the Chen, and the Town Portal makes Chen come back here next round to steal it.
And then Mogwai is super strong in the first lane, but then can he win the second lane?
Just I think so,
yeah. Got Hand of God.
Yeah, I think so.
I think for a little pressure.
I don't think you want to intimidate though. You kind of wanna, don't want Sven to interfere in any other lane, pushing 80 faster. Or I think Dane's best chance is to push 80 in the last lane. I don't think he can win this lane, and it's very unlikely. It's very unlikely that Sven gets there too. Maybe he plays around the town portal.
I like it.
At the same time, we'll play into Slay here.
The ogre here, yeah. So you're just gonna drop the ogre in the third
you
lane
can put the ogre in the last lane, right?
Yeah.
I don't mind it.
Add a little more pressure.
If your plan is to 80 anyways, like, go for it. Go nuts. Just play it where there's no black hero.
Yep. Makes a lot of sense. I mean, you do see these Slays in Mogwai's deck. He's got 2 of them.
Interesting. Okay.
So proactive Hand of God, that kind of locks Mogwai out of plays. He's
Mogwai
got the
missing
turret.
Another proc from the Unearthed. That sounds bad.
Yeah.
He's drawn like 1 or 2.
When you've got the Unearthed secrets,
one only,
and your opponent's hero just randomly curves into yours, denying you the draw.
So the Unearthed secrets was just a spot weakness, just 3 mana draw 1.
Yep. So far.
Yikes.
Yikes indeed.
Dane with the infinite patience on the ogre conscript.
I'm loving it.
Yeah.
I think that's a very good play, honestly. It depends, though. We'll see if he casts it or not, and like maybe TP's back a hero or whatever here. Then I don't like it as much, but you know.
Yeah, I mean, this is the biggest decision for Dane. Do you try to pressure this as if this is your win condition, or do you TP to try to defend and maybe even push something else?
I mean, I think you have to.
I kind of like dropping the conscript and then taking the Legionnaire out, but you said you didn't like that?
No,
I'm
I would have taken the. I think I would have taken the Farven out and tried to go on mid lane because I don't think you can win left ever.
Yeah.
Well, I think with the he hasn't been able to use the duel with his Sven or Tidehunter, but I guess he's
True.
okay with that.
But all this green in hand
Yeah.
that you're locked out of mid if you TP the Legion instead. I do really like enabling green in both left and right, or left and mid if you're Dane.
Yeah, I agree. Sure, duel is fine, but then again, you're killing a tree and can't really duel the PA, right?
So
So,
Dane gets
I don't know.
right pretty much for free at this point, and now it's just a complete brawl fest in both of these other two lanes. Holy Persuasion is up, but there's no big creep to take.
Yeah, it's totally fine. Just leave that off cooldown. It prevents your opponent from even playing anything.
Yeah.
Don't need to steal a creep.
I
Or
agree.
you don't need to steal a 2/4.
I saw Enchantress down.
Good initiative play. Locks Dane out of green.
Yeah, luckily he got that Farman in the mid lane, otherwise this would be... He would almost not cast anything this entire turn. So, personal knowledge first, if you want to sequence correctly. Because
Order lol.
Dane is just passing back priority, so might as well take that to draw a card, since it's 3, basically. What do you guys want to cast there? I don't even know.
Intimidating Tide is not terrible if it goes right, but it's
I
pretty
think
risky.
you want the Tide here because you already
Yeah.
have 3 heroes. You don't want to have 3 to 0 unless you're going for the Ancient, which I think you're losing the Ancient War against Miss. Actually,
Yeah, I agree.
maybe not because there's only 2. Is he just going to go for the Ancient?
It's
Maybe.
possible.
But even so, I think you want the Tide here for now.
I agree.
Yep.
I think you want to finish off with Intimidate. I think it's going to give you more, because Tide is not really threatening anything, right?
Exactly.
You can just play all your units, and then when Enchantress comes back, just bounce her away. Or something here.
There's one
Alright.
intimidation. Mogwai's locked out of green.
Okay, so
Well, now you're kind of locked
Mogwai's-
into a
yeah.
Ancient.
So Mogwai, yeah, its only plan here is to kill the Ancient.
Yeah, I
Yes.
mean, having 4 heroes stranded in the same lane is awkward, but Mogwai does have both a Town Portal Scroll as well as Intimidation, which can be played on your own heroes, but it's pretty
It's
risky
so
if it going
slow,
right.
you know.
yeah, no, I
it
think
takes
I
such
think
a
he
long time.
is committed to the just going for it.
Okay.
Well, he might not be committed, but we think it's correct at least to
Yeah.
commit
Oh,
to
seeing
that.
both hands, yeah,
Yeah,
I think.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Disciple of Nevermore is very scary for that threat. Dane can't do too much about that. Tidehunter is
sure.
dying with Ravage on cooldown, so now all Mogwai has to do is just defend mid while his 4 heroes push left.
Which is actually kind of hard as a PA.
Drawing Coup next turn would help quite a bit.
I understand
Yeah, it's like
my orders.
doesn't want to throw this Vandal to block because he wants the pressure in the main lane. So he kind of doesn't have any plays. Same idea with the Disciple.
I think you can kill the Legionnaire with Slay, though. Like, it slows
Yeah.
Dane's possibility to kill this
Legionnaire
thing
is
so
actually
much.
huge.
Yeah.
Yep.
I guess you can always kill it with Musket next turn, but...
And one of the biggest
Yeah.
things about this situation is the Spring the Trap in Mogwai's hands. One of the more powerful cards in red. The fact that this is lane, you can cast this independent of the lane you're in, means you will be able to defend mid, this lane, from left.
Yeah, very good defensive card. Pretty good offense
Yep.
as well. So
There's
However you
4-8
want to use
stat
it.
line on these 2 centaurs.
Yeah, I'm not against casting it in the same lane.
Yeah,
It's good statted for the mana, right?
not at all.
That's some 8-16 right there for 7.
Yeah,
It's
I
not
mean,
bad.
this is exactly what Mogwai needs in this situation. He will be playing this next turn. So the question is, what does Dane do about it?
Let us rephrase. It's what you always want in every situation. when you're in 7 mana. It's Spring the Trap is a large bomb, and that has a lot to do with that it's so hard to be mobile in draft, and that's why Blink there is also so good in draft, etc. And Town Portal becomes much better, etc.
Temporals is sick. I wish I
Yeah.
could put him in my deck.
For sure. Intimidate is also big because it's so hard for your opponent to bring their hero back.
And Dane just has this Legion, unfortunately not doing too much. It's going to be stuck in this right lane by its lonesome.
As we
Have
said,
we seen a
Town
shop
Portal's
beat this
picked up.
tournament?
We have Town Portal Scroll by Dane.
Mhm.
This will rescue this Legion. So, Mogwai has a lot of options on this left lane. He's probably going to want to Disciple of Nevermore, but not
Nope.
necessarily yet. I'd like
Can you
to see a
check if he has
Spring the Trap.
another Disciple in the deck?
Mogwai's
For that 80
deck
potential. He
has
does have
2
2.
Disciples, which
Yeah.
is ridiculous. I mean, this card we've seen do a pretty filthy amount of work in the past 2 days. Just giving you just that threat of Ancient Potential in the same way that Mist of Avernus does.
It's just a great late game card that in a pinch you can play it early game if you need to.
So I
Even
think you
pairs with
also,
Legionnaire.
yeah, I think you cast Legionnaire. Like, you don't have to deal I like that he's kind of splitting his attention to make sure he doesn't die that quickly in mid lane, because
There's the rend armor value.
because it doesn't really matter if he overkills the tower, as he will get the fortification once the tower is down, and then next turn he can play all the kind of, as we're saying it in MTG terms, overrun effects, like Disciple of Nevermore, that buffs all your units in one big swing. Like you kind of want to play all the cards that scale this turn, and then next turn you kind of want to try to finish.
I don't mind him playing it now though, because now he can play the Agloti, the Assassins, and the Disciple next turn.
Yeah, no, I agree that you
saying?
should definitely play it. Yeah. Huh. Oh. Okay.
Could
so
just be a little juke.
I'm
Actually, no,
actually
it's
I'm
not
a
a
fan of this town portal scroll. Actually, Chen's ability is not necessarily again the mind control and the creep. It's not really going to be important in the offensive lane. This lane at this point is kind of going to win itself with the help of Disciple, and Chen's ability to steal a creep might be useful here if he's playing around Dane, dropping something a little bit bigger.
Yeah, so the Chen isn't going to speed up his clock by a turn in the left turn, but it can certainly slow down the clock of the opponent by 1 or 2 or 3
buys
turns.
him more time.
Yeah, it could speed it up one turn, but it's very unlikely, right?
Yeah.
It's just more safe.
And it's definitely going to slow down Dane one
especially
turn
in the last lane, right? He can, if he's scared of the Asian race, but I don't think he is.
Yep.
I don't think he is.
See the Sucker Punch card in Dane's hand. Very powerful situationally, but unfortunately, if there's not a hero opposed, directly opposed from your red hero, it's not really going to do that much.
Yep.
See the Keenfolk turret. This has actually been put in work. This
yeah,
has been,
actually like it a lot in this
Turret is
red-green
great.
deck. It's a very slow deck.
Yeah.
I like it in my deck too.
Yeah, well, we saw it doing a lot of work for you as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
2 piercing damage will threaten this Hellbear Crippler going right through its armor.
You kind of love all the cards that help you win a lane without actually putting a hero there. I think that's kind of big game in draft, especially. That you can like put a miss somewhere, have a few creeps there, and then you can dedicate everybody else in another lane. I think that's kind of big, because that way that way it's easier to not overcommit into one lane, etc. So
I mean, Mogwai looks like he's in a very favorable position. Dane has a hard time getting through this wall of centaurs here.
yeah, I think this is a patience duel though.
Yes.
He wants Mogwai to play as many cards as possible, so you can like duel PA, so it then dies from the combat damage, but we know that's not going to happen with the Fountain Flask. The patient duel. Could also kind of rebel decoy the Sven if he wants to cleave the PA a little bit, make it easier.
Not the biggest slay, but he figures he has the Chen coming in to steal anything next turn.
Yeah.
You don't really need to kill a creep when you can
Yeah,
just
could he even be a
steal it.
bait? Just play your
Actually,
forge
putting
up.
Shen in last lane is kind of scary, right? This ogre is like so big soon.
Actually, yeah, the tower's only
Yeah.
at 23.
No, that
Yeah.
is a potential win condition here. I don't think he's going to need to go for it here with how kind of things are working left to lane. Especially if you kill this Tidehunter next turn, when the Ravage is just 1 turn from cooldown, that is pretty nasty.
Yeah.
So it's up to Dane to figure out how he wants to pressure this. Even though Dane is normally the deck that kind of like gets better over time in this matchup, Mogwai is in this situation where, you know, the pressure's on Dane.
Definitely.
The shadows will protect us.
Assassin's
Okay.
Apprentice. A little bit of damage and the potential to just
I would
block
definitely swap here though. Okay, so there it is. I like swapping here. Kind of surprised he doesn't swap Rebel.
Decoy and Sven would allow Sven to, for free, cleave this Assassin's Apprentice, killing it.
Yeah.
Dane's passing.
Now I like dueling. Now I like swapping and dueling in even more, because now you know the P is gonna die if it does that. Yeah, I think that was big. Maybe he wants to duel this creep to pressure 80 faster.
It's a possibility. He's
I
got
can see
a
that.
he's got a really hard time though trying to race this. He's got a town portal
He's
spell out and play
giving
defensive.
it up. Now I really like putting the Shen here.
Yeah.
Seems great,
I
right?
I do not mind that at all.
Yeah.
I mean, Mogwai has every possibility. Chen going either mid or right looks very good.
Maybe not. Maybe
Yeah, I
it's
don't
just
mind
too
this.
scary mid.
This is just the safe line.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's no reason to take a risk and go right. So Dane presumably will quad mid. This is the most important lane here, and he basically needs to try to kill this lane in 2 turns.
Priority here is gonna be pretty big for that Shen and duel.
initiative. Initiative right now is held by Mogwai. He can play first in both of
Yeah.
these lanes.
And this initiative play actually makes it way harder to 80 and Dane faster. I guess he can kind of 80 if he just passes here and Dane doesn't play anything too relevant.
Hipfire is also a great draw. It allows
That's
Mogwai
true.
to develop more pressure with Disciple, and then after that, take initiative back, which you normally can't otherwise do.
Yeah, and
You
it's
could
gonna be
goo
hard for.
into Hipfire if there's no potion from Dane.
Yeah, I like that play, for sure. Or maybe just develop like Swim said. You can also do that because there's a chance that when Mogwai starts to develop, that Dane just keeps on passing, because he wants to keep the initiative in the last lane, and then when you have, you know, all of your stuff out, you can Hipfire.
Yeah, I like this line of play a lot better. Disciple will curve with Hipfire. You've got 7 mana left. Disciple in this lane just puts out pressure, and then Hipfire to just force Dane to react. Now, the scary thing is, if you're Mogwai when you're deciding this line of play, there's a chance Dane has the Kraken Shell to steal initiative back.
See how you're
But you know he's going to get rewarded for this.
No, I think this was a big misplay.
Really?
Oh, what happens if he plays the creeps in front of that Disciple? He's not gonna deal another
Yeah,
40
or
next turn.
duel.
Yeah,
Mm.
this is big, I think. Like if Dane, elects to play Bronze Legionnaire,
He does
there's
have the
just no
Hipfire.
way.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
But now
Hipfire
Dane
cleans
can
that up.
actually duel the creep, and it's actually correct, I
Yep.
think.
Yeah.
I think you definitely have to here, 100%.
Yeah, so he's
But now we
punished
can't
from
duel.
Mogwai,
Now we can't duel Shen though in the mid lane.
you know.
It's true as well.
Because Shen, while being buffed with 3, I think Legion has like 10 attack or something. With the 2 retaliate, I think that's enough still to get the Shen.
I've seen a lot of high impact duels from the 2 attack Tidehunter in this series in the last.
Really?
Yeah. Or from whenever Dane's
Nice.
playing, basically.
So
Even
Mogwai-
11 attack,
Mogwai
yeah.
can do whatever he wants here. Intimidating
I
the
love
Legion Commander.
that. I love it.
He's playing around Sucker Punch perfectly. Legion Commander is the one right in front of Phantom Assassin.
But especially another duel, right? For
Yeah.
the Shen.
Yes.
Now Dane can't really play any big units, even if he had them. Can also get the Rebel Decoy here. It's not too bad, honestly.
Mogwai can do, I mean, just whatever he wants. Taking Rebel Decoy feels pretty good. Another Intimidation.
okay.
Is this going right? This is also going right.
Yeah,
Oof.
so I think if you take the Decoy here, you can almost push for this lane.
Yeah, that's really
Which
nasty
is
for Dane.
crazy. Yeah.
I mean, he spent a ton of Portal Scroll just trying to get out of this lane, and now both heroes are stuck there again. Intimidation has kind of been the MVP of this tournament a little bit. Yoel, you were saying earlier in your
Yeah.
series is that it had been very, very good
It's
for you.
very, very good for me, yeah. Especially good if you're
Mogwai
good at putting on pressure.
Running the clock.
Oh yeah,
Big
Mogwai.
win condition for
Mogwai is
Dane
down
is just
to
to clock
6
Mogwai at
seconds.
this point.
Yep. Keep in mind, this is effectively a chess clock. If you run out of time, you do lose the game.
Yeah.
So Mogwai's got to be very careful with that.
I do think it gets refreshed though with like 1 second for every play you make when it's down to 1.
Yes.
Yeah,
And you
or
get
0 or
a
something.
minute every round.
Yeah.
And I believe the actual shop time right there does not count, so you can actually view the board and get a little bit of additional time if you want.
Yep.
Pro tip.
There's a separate, yeah,
But
exactly. There's a
at this
separate,
point, yeah.
there's a separate clock on the shop basically.
But this point right here does drain your bonus time.
Yep.
So we'll see Mogwai's clock will only go up less than a minute. Or is it a minute 30 you get? We'll see.
So with this Disciple down, Mogwai needs to draw into the other Disciple if he wants to kill this Ancient this round. If he gets it, it's over. A Gloaty pushes, but it's not necessarily enough.
So he has 10 more damage, right?
Yep.
That's not enough.
With a
That's
short
only
sword as
49.
well.
Alright.
Is 12.
So 51 then.
But it is not enough. This will take 2 turns to go down. And the Tidehunter will drop from Dane, but
Yeah, I don't think it matters.
Ravage
It's so
isn't gonna
important
work.
that it's in first lane, right?
Yep.
If it was swapped around, then the double red hero would be in the first lane. Maybe he could push Ancient first,
Let's
but
get to work, sister.
since the first lane will always happen before the last, that turn can be 1 turn slower always.
exactly. This is one of the fundamentals of Artifact. Left lanes are kind of inherently stronger just because they go first.
Yep.
And in race situations, that will matter.
I share the wisdom of my people.
Mogwai's just applying a little pressure here. I mean, Dane
Well,
can...
it's lethal, right, with the Gloaty.
Yeah. It's
Dane
eight-
has
eight
a
more.
Rebel
decoy
decoy.
to block only,
Yep.
which is enough.
I would advise to playing it.
Yeah, you will have to.
Maybe
fine.
you want to save it for next game.
I'm willing to die for what I believe.
Yep.
Are you?
And Mogwai does not have lethal here anymore.
But that's fine.
Mogwai has the inevitability left, and there's just nothing Dane can do with that. You've got the Tidehunter coming back down, and he even has Ravage. Technically.
Technically.
You'll gets me. Yeah.
Yeah.
It could stun every unit. It's possible.
I can't leave
Yeah, what is the actual life total of the first lane?
Actually, a lot of.
How much damage can it let through?
It's actually so close in this lane. Wow.
Yeah, 1 damage off. The first lane is down to 17, so this
Okay.
Ravage needs to be pretty good.
Does he have initiative right now? He has to. Yeah.
It's
Hey,
not
I
that
mean-
insanely unlikely.
He also the
Right?
middle tower's at 1.
Yeah,
so
the
that's
middle
a
tower's at
problem.
1.
Come on, be positive.
All right. Huge Ravage coming out
You
here.
gotta believe, my friend. You gotta believe. There can be some hero arrows as well. There's potentials here.
Here's this Ravage. So Ravage gets guaranteed 3 stuns for the adjacent
And you
units.
can tell which ones are stunned based on the animation. So if you just watch the animation here,
Yes.
we need the
Yeah.
spikes to hit
We-
everything.
We need to see a lot of tentacles here.
And Tidehunter's away from all the hero. Well, it doesn't matter. He needs to hit him anyway. He needs to
Disciple
win
is
the
drawn.
50-50.
He needs to stun almost everything on this lane. Let's see it.
Misses
Not
the green
Treant.
hero, but
Whoa.
that's the best one to miss.
That's the best one to miss. It's down to 8. Wait!
What?
Mogwai doesn't have this!
Oh
It's
my
done
god.
enough!
That's
That's
insane.
He-
Unbelievable.
No
Wait,
potion
doesn't he have
knowledge.
potion?
Mogwai
But he has
has the
Oglodi here.
ability
Is
to
Oglodi.
leave him Almost. Almost. Dane
my
did
God.
actually have the right
Very
ancient in
anticlimactic.
one more turn otherwise.
Very anticlimactic. Very anticlimactic.
Yeah. So Intimidation and Disciple just putting in a ton of work for Mogwai there. That double Intimidation, stranding 2 heroes
Yeah.
in the right lane.
I wish I had that many Oglodi Vandals. That'd be nice.
4. Yeah, 4's a lot. 4's
Four's
good.
lo- Four's good.
Yeah.
It's a lot of rocks.
They don't really get worse in multiples, you know.
Yeah.
No, not really. No, I mean they're fine to play even as just a proactive 4-drop.
No,
Great-
for sure. I
Great
love
creep
it.
combat stats.
Love it.
So I really like the idea of just kind of like abandoning lanes, intimidating heroes. We've seen that kind of do very well on Artifact so far. Ooh, looks like they're getting into the next game already.
Spicy.
So Mogwai is up 1 game. If he wins this, he will go against Yol in the finals. Dane has to win 2 more.
Mogwai, the end boss. Possibly.
John the Disciple early. It's what you like to see.
It is?
Well, not necessarily turn 1, but you have security.
Okay.
I've casted turn 1
Yeah,
before.
yeah, you can cast it turn 1.
It has happened.
Oh.
It doesn't happen often, but it has happened. I'm not above it.
I do like the idea of a proactive rebel decoy.
Mm.
Sure.
I'll give my life.
Curve
Gets
feels
the
good.
arrow.
That's
a
absolutely
master.
what you like to see.
What
That's
a
a
master.
good artifact player right there.
I mean, you might as well take the shot if you don't want to play it in any other lane, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So Mogwai's hitting his
So
Rose
where's
Leaf.
Farving going?
Uh,
I assume in the first lane.
yeah, first
There
lane
you
makes
go.
the most sense. Debbie
Blocked.
fights for mid.
Yeah, it blocks Debbie very well too, right? If he puts Debbie there, Debbie actually only deals 9 with its ability, and then Sven cleaves for 2, meaning that Farving will win that battle with the help of Sven. So,
Yep. If it goes in front of Farvin.
which makes it so that Farvin is for sure safe in the left lane.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
at the same time, Enchantress is the
50-50.
kind of hero which you can kind of just abandon. It's a very scary hero to try to play against if you
Yeah.
can't really keep it down.
That's why Enchantress is so good in draft, because it so often wins its lane by its own, because it makes it so that your creeps become tougher. And it also has a card that can be played globally since it's an improvement, so it can help other lanes also. So the way you want to often win an artifact is use as few resources as possible to win one lane,
Yeah.
and commit as little as possible at all times, and then kind of contest the other 2 lanes. It opens up a lot more flexibility and choices for you.
Wow, Mogwai playing the Roseleaf Druid out of the tree aura and right into the Farvran aura.
I think that's fine, honestly.
The
Yeah.
downside
Think
is
The
you wanna
tree's
be
dying
able to
anyways, so
combat-
he's not
yeah.
gonna get the aura.
Yeah, you're gonna get back here at some point, I feel like.
You're safe with me, Enchantress.
Prowler Vanguard kind of taking the same position as last time, just peeling the bristleback off of the Enchantress. So what are you looking for here if you're Mogwai? I mean, you have the
Do
pick
we have
off.
a pick off? Not really.
No amazing targets. It's not piercing, and this Sven does have that 1 armor here.
Yeah,
Farming
effects like
didn't
pick
work.
off. It's actually just gonna get worse too as the Verdant Refuge get developed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Black spells are pretty weak against armor most of the
I
time.
I think I would kill the Rebel Decoy. Push for 9.
Yep. I wouldn't mind that at all.
Don't. Yeah.
I mean,
that's good.
Mogwai is basically the aggressor. You've got to kind of go fast and end the game early.
It doesn't have to be the aggressor though, right?
Yes.
But his hand is very aggressive, so it plays out pretty well to try to be aggressive.
One of the big win conditions Dane has is Red Mist Pillager. We saw this get shut down by Kinfolk Turret in the last game,
Interesting.
but if no answer comes down for this, then the last game goes completely differently.
Do you think that was just a miss? Like, I think
did
it
he
was
pick this
the wrong
one down
play,
to?
but do you think it was just that he missed that? Or is he just hoping there's gonna be that creep spawn and that kills the Sven? He seems super ambitious.
It's a good question. I mean, I don't think he would have missed that interaction, but at the same time, maybe he is just hoping for a creep spawn.
It's a lot of. You gotta remember, there's so many things to think about in artifacts. So sometimes you just miss the basics
Yeah.
because there's so much,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
like deep things to think about.
Especially when we have the caster vision, we're not thinking of what cards they're actually playing around.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah.
So Mogwai is deploying the Chen.
Mhm.
In this case, all players are mostly fighting for all 3 lanes.
I think if you cast pick off there and knows it's gonna survive, I think you are planning to commit there with the Shen.
For sure.
Otherwise, it's just a card you throw away.
Yeah, unfortunately with the Traveler's Cloak, Dane will survive from the Chen.
What Mogwai really wants is an opportunity to get the Stonehall Elite out. Both players have very high value creeps that they're trying to enable. Dane's looking for the Red Mist Pillager to hit tower, and Mogwai is looking for an opportunity for Stonehall Elite to hit a creep so that they can both snowball a lane out of control.
I remember you can always play your own creeps proactively against Red Mist Pillager. You don't really have to wait, because if there's only one open slot, you have to place it in front of that creep. So if you want to cast it, it has to be in front of the open Roseleaf Druid, because that's the only place you can place creeps right now, and then it's kind of useless. So
Yes.
this kind of works out. Okay. Well, I guess we're planning to Hand of God next turn.
And Dane does have the opportunity to Sucker Punch. It doesn't really do anything here. He might be trying to play for initiative next turn. This is a card that's kind of dangerous to hold on to too long, because it can be kind of hard getting value out of it later with
Yeah.
even 3 red heroes.
I do like holding onto it here, though.
Yeah, could be useful against this Bristle.
You could argue it is good to hold on to it, because once you get to those 8, 9 mana turns,
Exactly,
you're shutting
yeah.
down multiple cards.
Yeah, I
potential
think
enemies.
it's even better to cast next turn, because Shen is not going anywhere until next turn. So if you shut it off then it's almost for sure gonna die that turn also, and also shut off all the cards.
Looks like there's kind of not too much for Mogwai to do except for maybe cloak something. This is just not the kind of situation you want to play this Disciple of Nevermore.
Yeah. Stonehall Elite also gets worse over time when there's more Verdant refugees spreading out. It's gonna be harder and harder to kill opposing melee creeps with it and making it grow
Yeah,
faster.
it snowballs half as fast when
Yeah.
there's that armor.
Your rebellion ends here.
Yeah.
Just tossing it out.
Interesting.
Maybe he wants to keep this Bristleback healthy, I guess.
Yeah, could be. Not accomplishing too much, but it's not a board state where you can really do too much with Stonehall Elite.
Well,
I mean, it feels
and
like-
then we see the
Yeah.
06 come down. That's the perfect target to put Stonehall in front of.
Yes.
But it
Yeah.
would have probably never been played until we saw this come up.
Until it's there, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like Dane is just trying to go a little bit wide here so they can enable the Red Mist Pillager as soon as possible.
Yep.
Like to have it being played outside of the creep spawns.
Yeah, both players are trying to kind of just find a lane that the other player abandons to threaten Ancient. Because abandoning is a very powerful strategy, but also very punishable. Mogwai has the double Disciple in hand, which we saw punished last game with, and Dane has the Red Mist Pillager.
Yeah.
Dropping a Disciple here is not bad.
We gotta remember also with the Stonehall Elite that Mogwai only has one red hero, which is Bristleback. And I don't think Bristleback is going anywhere and anytime close.
Oh, that's a good, I didn't notice it was just a splash.
Yeah. Oh, this is an awkward arrow with the Retaliate.
Saw this happen last game as well. Disciple curving right into Legion Commander.
Just
Insta-dime
slurps
to
it up.
Retaliate.
Slurper slurp. Well, he does have initiative now. Did he get a short sword? Okay, that's pretty big.
Yep.
That means he can play around fountain flasks and more equipments on the Shen
15 seconds
and stun it, and I guess not really. If he stuns it, it goes up to 9 again. So then Sven can only attack for 7.
It feels very much like Dane is kind of more so in the driver's seat of this game. I mean, Mogwai has these 2 coups, and you can do a lot with that. But at this point in time, Dane's hand feels stronger.
Actually, do you guys like putting Treant on the left?
I don't mind it. You get the
Yeah.
armor.
Yeah.
Um,
Armor is big, right? Because it also plays around God strength.
Yes.
You can make it survive
Maybe you want
because
the
it's
Hand of
very
God in the
important
middle
that
lane,
Hand
though.
of God happens.
Yeah. Hand of God middle might be very
Yeah.
important.
That's an overstack.
This
though,
is
3.
playing it right.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's the other thing that makes sense, I think. I don't think you can contest mid, really. Like, you, with those 2 creeps, it's just gonna take so long before you can actually get an attack in.
Yeah.
And he hasn't dealt a single damage. There's also the Burning Refugee, the regeneration from Enchantress. There's just so many problems in mid.
Yeah, Tidehunter and Enchantress are both heroes that represent just putting up this wall, but at the same time not really doing too much pressure, so you can't just kind of leave them be.
Yeah. With the way this played out, this stun is going to be pretty big, I think.
Yeah, so kind of big. He didn't pick up the Fountain Flask. He opted for the Cloak instead, which isn't going to be enough to save him. But he might feel like it is right now. But
Yeah.
of course, the Short Sword is going to get him.
Yeah, and also, regardless of that, if he puts Treant here, that he's also fine, because not only does it not take damage, and he can save it with Cloak, but he can also Hand of God from the Treant, because then he has another green hero here. to
Yeah,
cast it with.
I don't think he was. Yeah, he probably wasn't playing around Sucker
So-
Punch though.
If you're Mogwai, ooh, I love holding on to this cloak.
Yeah,
if you're Mogwai,
that's smart actually.
yeah, you see Dane just bought 2 3 gold items. One of the things you can do in Artifact is kind of track the opponent's gold, see what they bought. 2 3 gold items, and you see 3 short swords in the deck because you see what your opponent's running, electing to save the Traveler's Cloak for the Debbie mid instead.
Mhm.
It's a very heads-up play by Mogwai.
Right. So, I guess you're kind of giving up this lane?
Yep.
I don't know if you can do that, though.
Oh, that's true as
That's
well.
the issue here. Like, I feel like your hand is so constructed by... You have so many good black cards, and you have to kind of start casting them with the Phantom in the last lane. Which means you're not going to cast a green card with that Treant anyways.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
So I'm a huge fan of this coup. Triggers Barroom Brawler, but unfortunately the random card it discarded was the 1/6 Traveler's Cloak, which forced the Debbie to die there.
You can see right there.
Yeah,
Nope.
it's
No,
it's a
not
little
vision.
bugged there.
Yeah, you can see the little text there, though.
Yep.
It says discarded card.
Coup is a card where normally the random discard often doesn't really end up mattering that much, but when it does, it very much hurts, and Mogwai is unhappy to see that discard on the card that was meant to keep his Debbie alive.
Yep.
At the end of the day, though, he's probably happier than discarding, say, another Coup and a Tim or a Hand of God.
Really? I don't know what happened here.
Those who cannot
That's
Can somebody fill me in?
an interesting duel.
I don't know either.
I
guess you-
Ghetto TP.
Dude, this is worse than Ghetto TP. This is something else.
Yeah, I mean this is a scary lane all of a sudden. That's a
somehow.
duel right into the Treants, and now this lane is kind of out of control. That's a
Well,
big
yeah.
turn for Mogwai.
Yeah, that lane is lost. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I'm
Let me
trying to
see
figure it
Mogwai's
out.
deck list. What was he afraid of? And
But-
Tim comes to mind, but that's a TP anyways.
It's a
I don't
T-
know.
Yeah, I can't think. Like, if you just pass, you cannot do the same thing to the Treant. Like,
Yeah.
is he afraid of changing position with that Treant kind of teleports away and makes it so that I don't even know. Okay, I'm gonna stop speculating.
So
And say he made a mistake.
Mogwai has won right lane now in a way that will demand Dane's attention. Dane can't just
Yeah.
give this up because it will win the Ancient with the Disciple of Nevermore. So he'll have to drop something like a Tidehunter there.
Yep, sounds about right.
That is
But also,
basically Tidehunter's
Mogwai is gonna
job,
have
just to
some-
stall anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mogwai's gonna have some issues
Oh,
killing
That
another
feels bad.
lane.
that feels very,
Finally
very
gets to
bad.
drop the Red Mist.
Yeah, Red Mist Pillager only goes off when it's able to go directly into the opponent's tower. Normally, you're usually happy to see a curve. This is one of those cases where you're very, very unhappy to see it.
Yeah, I guess.
This gives Mogwai a chance to kind of retaliate. For example, Debbie coming down into this lane, maybe slaying the Red Mist Pillager, or potentially abandoning it.
Abandoning Red
Yeah,
Mist?
this is abandoning a Red Mist on left lane is probably
I
just
don't
a
know,
little
my
too
friend.
risky.
I don't know.
I mean, if you're Mogwai, you kind of have the inevitability on right lane, unless something is dropped and kind of starts cleaning things up.
Very surprised when we play this potion of knowledge yet.
Yeah, if nothing else, Chen has the steal. And since the Red Mist was... You can see how huge it was that the Red Mist wasn't able to multiply, because now Chen can just steal that one, and then the Red Mists are shut off.
Yes. It's even not impossible that a steal plus something that enables the red mist to kind of go face on Mogwai's end ends up turning this around.
Like, say, a Hand of God that keeps it alive, gets the trade,
Mm.
and then Hand of God again the next turn, and then, yeah.
Sorting up the Enchantress. Got the Intimidation as well, but a little too afraid to use it. With Intimidation, it's a tricky card to use because it's a random other lane, and very often when you're looking at using this card, one of the outcomes is bad for you and one of the outcomes is good for you. So the trick with Intimidation is finding the situation where both outcomes are pretty good for you.
And honestly, this Bristleback's not doing anything in this lane anyways.
Yes.
It's being blocked by creeps, so that's exactly what you want.
But it's kind of nice though. Like we don't usually see these Unearthed Secret being so good late game, but if you actually put them both in the mid lane, like that. Okay. If you would have put them both in the mid lane,
Interesting.
that deck, or I mean, sorry, not that deck, but that lane doesn't. There's not a lot of damage being dealt. Like there's not a lot of pressure being dealt, and putting heroes there is kind of hard because Bristleback is blocking one of the positions every turn. So that means continuously that that lane will not have a lot of pressure on it. So I think the Unearthed Secrets could trigger many times before it actually matters that you take damage. That's
I
what I'm
think what
thinking.
this play from Mogwai is saying is that he's... Okay, I don't understand. I thought he's going to steal the red mist, and then that's the only defense he's going to put, and then fight for the middle lane?
He can still do this. I mean, the left board on Dane is wide enough that this Unearthed Secrets is still probably going to be able to get off.
Yeah.
At the same reason.
Yeah, it depends where the steal from the pillager
yeah.
lands.
If it's in front of Farman,
And he actually doesn't even have to steal the pillager if he doesn't want to, because now it's going to die to a creep.
it is scary though if he has to remove for it. But then again,
Dane has
red green not
initiative.
used, not usually isn't.
Yeah,
known for
intimidation and
its-
duel are about it.
Yeah.
Bellow.
Yeah.
Intimidation to send the Chen away is a very, very powerful card here. You got to be thinking about that if you're Dane. That's kind of the play on initiative.
Yeah, I think he's thinking if he can keep his pillager alive, he'll intimidate the Chen for sure, but I don't... Yeah, and he can with
Rebel
the decoy.
yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There is a slay
So-
in hand, unfortunately, but, you know. Or even a glory.
Shen going mid is pretty big. And this Unearthed Secrets kind of worked out just because... Only because Dane had an intimidation. Otherwise, it would have been pretty bad, I think.
So if Mogwai wants to save this Debbie, he does need to save mana for a unit to play to the right, blocking it here.
You don't... do you just pass here?
Yeah, you could. It's not necessarily relevant. You're looking at a lot of different things right now if you're Mogwai. You're thinking about, do I want initiative in this mid lane?
Yeah.
Because so much of the game is going to come down to what happens mid, right? I mean, being able to use Intimidation, lock one of the colors out of being able to cast spells, as well as like Hand of God to just prevent your board from being messed with.
Yeah, I thought about the split too, but I don't like
Once
it.
done.
I don't like it either.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. He just wants to stall the game out more. He knows he has that inevitability in the right lane,
Yep.
so maybe he just wants to defend both lanes.
We've got
I-
the Apprentice.
I just feel like you could put the Apprentice here and then save your Debbie.
Mhm.
And you can't really use Duel on Sven anyways,
Oh.
because then it trades versus Debbie.
Yeah, now he cannot slay the
Exactly, that's
pillager,
what I'm
which is
thinking.
huge.
But he
Oh,
can
does have
put
the
Assassin
okay.
Apprentice in front of it.
Yep.
But I still don't like the coup, because now Debbie dies anyways. So it's like, this Assassin's Apprentice could have saved the Debbie for a turn.
I'm okay though. He's slowing the game down quite a bit by
Yeah.
killing that Sven, and he's gonna get all those cards off Unearthed.
Yeah. Let me rephrase. He's accomplishing what he's trying to do, but I
Mhm.
felt like there was an
Yeah.
more efficient way to do that.
So, both eyes on Shen's Holy Persuasion. Even stealing something weaker like Rebel Decoy with the active ability, just swinging sides on the board, is
If
relevant.
your goal is to stall, do you ever just steal the Prowler Vanguard?
It's possible. I think you got to be more wary of something coming down that's a little bigger.
Yeah.
There's only one
Oh, of
Ogre
course,
Conscript
yeah.
though in
I don't
know
think
Dane.
it matters so much because there's gonna be an open position where the Rebel is, so he has to put it there anyways. And the Hand of God is gonna save that creep, and then next turn it's gonna attack the same creep again. And then it's gonna have maybe Slay available at the time where that creep actually matters. So I think just stealing anything is gonna be better because you can protect it with Hand of God.
Yep.
Yeah. And hopefully it's gonna be in front of Legion Commander. Well, for Mogwai's sake, that is.
Yeah, for the swap with the Bristleback, you mean?
I was just thinking of blocking 6 damage, but yeah, sure, that works too.
So this is just the
Interesting.
kind of proactive
Alright,
Rose
feels no
Lake
need
Druid.
to Hand of God here. He'll just wait.
Yeah.
Save it for later.
Yeah, if you do this play, you're probably not gonna use the ability from Shen either.
Yeah.
This is scary though, because now you can kind of get duel next turn versus the Shen. I mean, clearly we can see that Dane doesn't have a jewel in hand, but
But he could draw one.
could draw one, and Mogwai doesn't know if he has one or not. Doesn't cast a... I don't understand why he didn't cast a God Strength
So we have
there.
the Ravage here. It doesn't have a guaranteed stun. It only stuns PA. Hand of God is up, but it
And this
doesn't
is actually
do that
big
much.
because, yeah, and or he can, yeah, and he can protect the Nevermore. But it's actually kind of a waste because he wanted to use it in the middle lane.
Yeah.
So I think he'll just let it die.
I mean, Ravage is such a long cooldown. It is very, very likely that this will only happen once a game. It's very rare you see 2 Ravages in a game
No, for
typically.
sure, yeah.
So that is pretty much the one you're going to see there.
So when they're stunned, are they counted as blocked units? No, you can use the artillery still, right? Yeah,
Yes.
just making sure.
But Tidehunter is doing what Tidehunter does. He's stalling out the right lane and kind of buying Dane more time. The problem is, if you're Dane, maybe you need a little more than time. Who do you guys think is favored here?
I really like Mogwai's position, but I would have preferred him to hold on to that Hand of God for the middle lane.
Same here,
Yes.
yeah.
But
I
it's
think
okay.
he could
Or at
have
least
got
waited for Dane to threaten his Nevermore.
I also think that would have been big if Dane played like God's Strength on that Legion Commander, dealing 4 more and having the potential of duels
Duel.
as he drew
Duel is
drew
drawn.
now. Because he had mana to play both that and Kraken Shell if he wanted the priority in the last lane. So I don't know. I just felt like he didn't use his mana to cast Gold Strength, because Gold Strength doesn't. I mean, it doesn't get that much better because you're just gonna slap it on a hero and that hero will move on his own anyway. So might as well.
Here's the other Hand of God.
Yeah.
Mogwai
I
is
guess
drawing
he's
4 cards a
basically
turn.
guaranteed to get it at 4 cards a turn.
So we've got the duel off of initiative. This kills the Chen, denies not only Holy Persuasion, but Hand of God locking out of
Yeah,
green.
huge duel.
Mogwai has the Spring, a very, very powerful card. Just bring the trap in place. Stall this lane harder.
Yeah, the game's going so slow. The Chen's gonna come back and Hand of God later.
Potentially
anyways.
just bring the trap left at this point, actually.
Okay.
Mogwai has still yet to lose a tower.
I think you want to just keep that card engine just feeding you.
Yep.
Oh, spicy.
Ooh, this is a little aggressive.
Yeah.
A little aggressive. Very aggressive.
You think this might be a little risky?
That is extremely.
That's
Yeah,
Wow.
I don't like this at all
I guess
because
he's still-
Bristleback doesn't have any spells to cast.
Yeah, I guess
Now
he
you
hasn't
have to
lost a
TP.
single tower, so.
Now you have to TP out one of your heroes.
It's a play that you usually see from someone who doesn't feel like they're in a controlling position. This is a risky play, maybe opens up a lose condition. If Dane can kind of muster up enough strength left and mid, then he can potentially race Mogwai's Centaurs right.
Yeah, you have to TP out here. I would have liked not to TP out the Bristleback though,
Yeah.
because Bristleback isn't really casting any spells. Like there's no red cards in the hand, so
So basically what's going to happen here is Mogwai, assuming that Dane doesn't do too much here, is going to kill this Ancient in 2 turns. Dane will have 2 turns to be able to kill Mogwai's tower on the left for the win, but Mogwai has 2 defenders, Debbie and Bristleback.
yeah, maybe Mogwai is favored here.
I do think Mogwai is still in a good position. I
Yeah.
mean, the 2 defenders coming in. It's going to be really hard for Dane to just end the game fast enough.
Yeah, maybe he actually has to put the Sun on the right side to try to protect this lane. It's gonna be hard, but you do what you gotta do, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you can, if the Sven coming down here can buy you an extra turn, if he can extend Dane's window to 3 turns instead of 2, maybe he's in a better position. But even then, the Chen's coming back with its active does not look too good for Dane.
Actually,
loses
God's
this, he's
Strength,
out.
pick a fight. Okay. You could shut down the Nevermore.
That's true.
Yeah, I would have liked that. I mean, we know there's a Slay, but I agree with that play. Maybe he actually tries to play pick a fight instead of shut it down. But it does have 2 extra armor from Treant, so won't even die actually.
Yeah. Oh, if he wait, he went with God's Strength.
With God's Strength, yeah.
Yeah, with God's Strength, he should be enough. But yeah.
But he doesn't have mana for that.
Yeah.
Well, with, before the Seder. But yeah, it is a really unfortunate
Wait,
card to be
that pick a
against.
fight actually reduced a lot of damage. But yeah, not killing the Nevermore this turn is huge.
Yeah, I mean, Dane needs to be able to target this card down. And this is kind of what we were saying earlier about the weakness of red-green. It's very, very powerful, but it doesn't really interact with the opponent's board almost at all. I mean, you've got Intimidation and Duel, and that's basically it. So when the opponent drops something like a Disciple, very, very few answers to deal with it.
Yeah, you're supposed to have a board that's bigger than them to prevent them from dropping it.
Yep. But as soon as Mogwai kind of finds some weakness in Dane's strategy and his lane lineup, you can just go to a lane and abuse it.
Our victory is inevitable.
Yeah, what he said.
So Mogwai's blocking left, presumably. Dane, he could try to push left with Sven. He could try to block right with Sven. Either way, it's looking really bad for him. They need Disciple. Even then, it might only buy him an extra turn.
Yeah, there's no way. I'm calling it.
Yeah, Dane just has a little bit too defensive of a deck. I mean, you've got to have some kind of Hail Mary. You don't have Intimidation. You don't really have anything that can come back from a lost board state.
He's really missing those Thunder Hides to close out the game.
Yeah.
Relying on the mist only to get power.
Yeah, and one Ogre Conscript is just not enough. He has that Red Mist Pillager too, but that plan is kind of fragile as we saw.
Yep.
Alright.
Mogwai drawing some pretty good kind of stabilizers, some slowdown cards. Coup, even if anything were to happen, he can just shut down a hero with that.
So does the Hand of God in the last lane? How does it look like? Like, if he makes sure that nothing dies. No, yeah.
It actually is enough because Dane doesn't have any creeps.
Yeah, it depends really on the... Oh, he doesn't have any
Rebel
red
Decoy.
creeps.
But yeah, Rebel Decoy can't be played on the red.
Does Dane have any red creeps? In his deck?
No.
Nope. That's going to be it.
I mean, in his deck.
I'm willing to die.
I mean, we can see what he has.
He does have
clearly.
Hellbearer and Bronze.
Okay, so he has... Is that it? Because he has a Slay also. I'm trying to figure out whether he should play Hand of
Yeah,
God or
actually,
Coup de
yeah, with the
Grace and
Slay and the Accident, well, he could afford one.
I mean, Mogwai's
Yeah,
just
exactly.
holding all the cards.
But
here.
yeah,
But if he has
Coup-
like 6 creeps in his deck, maybe he can play 2. Like, there's...
Yeah. And I
Those
think
are
that's all,
things you
all the
gotta think
arrows going
about.
into the heroes anyway, so Q is going to push a ton of damage.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I didn't get to see how the arrows went. Can we look at the last lane again?
And Mogwai knows that, I mean, if nothing happens left that threatens him too much, he's just going to hold initiative.
Alright, so no real arrows going in a way. It's not so important to kill a hero here.
Yep.
He also has that artillery, so I think Hand of Godding seems nice.
Yeah, it's potentially just the safe play.
Yeah.
Can't drop Bronze Legionnaire anywhere, though. He does not need to. I mean, it seems like Dane just has no way to kind of punch through here. TP scroll.
Does he
on
have
the Legion.
Braces Sacrifice there?
Braces
what I
of
see?
Sacrifice, yes.
Wait. Can he do it? He can kill the Nevermore.
He can kill the
not if
Nevermore
you
if
Hand
the
of
Hand of
God.
God doesn't come
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mogwai has the initiative. He's got a few
Or he could
options
just
here.
Q once he sees the
You can also just
bracers.
pass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right,
they've got
here we
guns
go.
early.
I'll let this play is correct, so
Oh,
I think.
no.
At this point, I mean,
Yeah.
there's nothing Dane can do. His entire hand is just proactive stuff. No creeps even to chump block. Mogwai taking it 2-0 will be
Congratulations.
against Yoel in the finals. Yoel, how are you feeling about your odds against Mogwai here with his deck?
I think it's more scary than Dane's deck.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
don't like all the... I think he has just a higher chance to raise me, because he has good heroes early game. That kind of beats mine most of the time. And if he gets a good flop and he gets an advantage early, he has all these Vandals and the Nevermores to kind of push that damage. If you saw my first round opponent, that wasn't really the same because they didn't have as many powerful creeps that weren't aggressive enough. So even if my hero died, it could come back and then win later on anyway. So that's kind of what I'm scared about against this deck, and we'll see how it plays out, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, this is it. This is what it has all come down to at this point. Our boy, so far you are undefeated in this entire tournament.
Yeah.
7-0.
Broke the 7-0 curse.
Yeah.
So that's good.
That's good.
At least we
Even
got
undefeated in games in the top 8.
Okay.
Wow.
Maybe we can
That's
keep that up.
very impressive.
Not gonna jinx it. Once more, I'm not gonna jinx
I
it.
feel like you might have just done it so.
No, he said not gonna.
No.
That cancels it out.
Cancels
Yeah,
it
it
out.
cancels it
That's
out.
true. That's true. Okay.
Schoolyard rules, you know. Gotta learn them.
So we are going to be going to a break one more time before we get to the finals here.
Yep.
And we'll be back in a few minutes.
See you in a bit.